Hey, Spikers or Demostic Alliance, it's me, Spikers. To the video. In this video, I am making 6 Windigos Dragons and 4 hybrids. The third one is the 4th hybrid is a monster hybrid. Basically, I take 3 or more creatures and put it into one, and those are made of all 6. So yeah, and the creatures I used are and people I used were the following. The Demostic Wendigo, X-Amosan, my demon for a podcast community redraw, Camemps for this month's podcast community redraw, and the Dragonoidetal gold elemental thing I created when I was making reincarnated slime creature characters as gold elementals. The Tincture OC named as Asher, and then Utau Pitchi named Singer from my most recent random MHA OCs. So yeah, without further ado, let's roll intro and let's get into the video and let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Well, it appears that some of these dragons are a lot weirder than I've thought. I've looked at their energy layouts, and trust me when I say, even my dad was dumped on a few dragons they found. Well, so I decided to go over some of them. Now, putting it lightly that these things are all strong is putting it mildly. They are all stupidly strong in their own right, but some are stronger than others. Especially with this one demon dragon-like creature. Trust me, it's another nightmare. But for the first one that I was really stumped about was a creature known as simply, for the record, this was the most common name, and the creature name given by the community I found them in. These were found in the cold regions of the north, and also pretty much anywhere that's cold. Not in Antarctica or some. They are coming from the North Pole, but nowhere near Antarctica. They are known as Windigos. We have Windigos in this world. They're a major annoyance. But these things are weird. These are like Windigo Dragons. But they're known as Draconic Demostic Wendigo Drakes. Or Dracostic. Mixture of Draconic and Demostic. They're known as the Dracostic Wendigo Drake as the most common name. They look like that of a small drake, but with a ginormous front body. Not by front body, like their front legs are stupidly big. They have like a skull head, which is actually their skull. It does have nerves underneath it. It's like a little flesh in the middle to keep it together. And trust me, they have very similar. They also regenerative factor is on par with that of Demostic Black Dragon. Nowhere near as powerful or as fast or as strong any other factor, but just the regenerative factor is strong. Now, when hungry, these things are known to charge at humans and sometimes devour them. Well, scratch that, nearly all times devour them. But due to their parts draconic in nature, demostic nature, they don't really attack humans all that often. Because, demostic things don't really attack humans unless they have committed a very grievous error, or they've just been downright jackarsses to pretty much anyone around. But the reason why they do sometimes eat humans is sometimes to satiate some of their hunger. They do eat dragons, for the record. They mostly eat small dragons, somewhere along the lines of up to a bigger drake, or sometimes a true dragon, somewhere along the lines of those dual-tailed ones. It's very rare, but they can use something up to that size and still be very frail looking. And speaking of very frail looking, they do look really frail. Now, these creatures come from another universe. Now, what I mean by that is that they literally don't even appear to come from this world. I've been searching through the database of registered universes I know of, and there aren't really that many. But I managed to find some from a traveling overseer named Wanderer. He told me about this creature known as a Demostic Wendigo. I looked into it, and its energy layer is staggeringly similar to the caustic Wendigo Drakes. So, like I was saying, and their energy layer is very staggeringly similar to the Demostic Wendigo Drake, so I theorize that they are from the same creature. But when creatures like this come to this world, they're usually summoned. It's very hard to find where they're summoned from. But I've just came across this one, and from the research I've gone and done, and from the things I could find, it appears that they are from a very long line of creatures that were summoned into this world. And weirdly enough, some of them have made it and caused hybrids. I'm going over, this is one of the 6 actual dragons, and the last ones are like something like hybrids. Very nasty creatures, and I made the mistake of making one of them. But let's just get to the new one. Now, this next one is a very, very weird dragon, namely because of the fact that it is just weird. It's we do have demon dragons in this world, for the record. They're known sometimes as demogons because they're demonic and draconic natures. This one comes from another world known as the Demonverse under the registered name. All Overseer and Overseer children have access to it when they reach a few hundred years. It's very rare, so yeah. But I've looked into it, and this thing is known by locals of its region. For the record, it's known to be found in America. It's also known to travel the world. But from what I can tell, we've managed to, and there's only one of its kind, so I've only been able to study it. And during the one time, we've been able, my father and some others have been able to seal it away in a cave. I don't even know the location. He won't tell me, and I can see why. Because this guy is freaky. But by everyone that has seen him, it is known as the Christmas plus Thanksgiving Dragon. Most common name is X-Amosan. And might say he's from X-Amosan. I can't pronounce this guy's name. But X-Amosan. He is from, like I stated, the registered title is Demonverse. Now, when I say that he is strong, that's an understatement. He's one of the very few of his kind, and, well, putting it lightly, this thing does look like something like a demon, because the proportions are all messed up and all weird. And I mentioned, I have looked into it, and this thing's energy layout is whopping freaking weird. Namely because its strength far exceeds of a dragon of its size. The size of this dragon is actually around 100-foot wingspan with a body length of 120 feet. So, yeah, a pretty freaking big dragon by standards. But that's not where it gets very, very weird. Where it gets very, very weird is the strength and speed and the regenerative factor of these creatures. They are magic based, but due to it being part demon, it has a stupidly high regenerative factor. I have compared this to the Demostic Black Dragon. It is almost on par with it. Look, I've tried cutting things in half, cutting off a limb of this thing. As long as there's even just one person that believes this thing and is ready on Christmas Eve, it is still near full power and can regenerate a limb in like a month. Yeah, it's on par, but there's a huge power gap between a Demostic Black Dragons and this thing's regenerative factor. Now, that is just strong as frick, and it is an utter pain to deal with. But now, the reason why it is sealed away is because it is only able to fully, because trust me, if it was out at all times, this world would be in a whole lot more chaos, and this thing would be a whole lot more powerful. So my father made it to round this thing up, but he could only lock it away for so long because it doesn't have access to the full energy layout, just the energy layout of this thing. So we had to resort to sealing away the thing while it is weakened. So you can only really keep it locked away for a good few years, days of the year. He usually keeps it locked away, and it's actually on a timer. It can only be released on the, if I remember correctly, 24th and 25th of every year. Hence the name, but it's also sometimes able to get out during Thanksgiving and some other time around it. But trust me when I say that. Now, when I say that, these things are very hard. It's very rare for it to get out near Thanksgiving. It is very rare for it to get out Thanksgiving. It's only like every 50 years or so. So, yeah. Let's get to the next one. And for the record, this thing has been found to have a near indefinite lifespan. So, yeah, see ya. Okay, so for the next one, it is something far, far, far freakier. Its full name is, well, mostly known as Camemps or corrosive anti-mech EMP creature dragons. Yeah, and they actually come from a relatively newly just found about universe. They come from the universe that is known as the Monsterverse because of the stupid amount of monsters, and they're about kaiju-sized creatures in that universe. So, yeah, there is a lot of creatures. These are weird. They were somehow summoned here by regular humans. They originally were able to summon the original Camemps, but due to some interferences, like one of the things they used to in order to summon something from another realm, from another dimension, was some dragon scales to the closest caliber of its skin. They had to find components of the creature that were similar to it in overall. These are someone that are reincarnated in this world. Very rare. It's usually happening into other dimensions and other multiverses, but it sometimes happens into the same multiverse, just different universes. So yeah, this guy is something along the lines of stupidly strong, but yet easy to kill. Stupidly strong in his world, in its original world, but stupidly weak in our world. Full body length is around 150 feet, with that tail being being along 85 feet, and the wings in the with a 100-foot wingspan, so 85 subtract 90, so 70 feet. 60 feet. 65 feet is how long the body is. What's that? 85 feet being the tail. Yeah, this thing is strong. Also managed to get my hands on a file from said other world, known as the Monsterverse, and I managed to get my hands on the file for the creature somehow. But here's the description of this stupidly powerful in that world, but really weak in this world, dragon. They are creatures that can produce screeches that can cause an EMP. They are, if there's a impervious EMP is, the creature can use its highly corrosive fluid for blood that seeps out of its specific places on its body. Originally, they were in other places, but on this one, it's on its bottom feet, like it's, you know, you have, for like this thing has like 3 feet, 3 toes on each foot. 2 up front and 1 in the back, and there's like a little claw in the middle. And its bone, it's there. And also has one in between its claw on the tail. And it has it on the 2 tips of its toes on the back. And also the, and it has 2 spikes on it. Now, it has, trust me, this is from, and I had to edit a few things, but it has heavily plated body parts, razor-sharp claws, and a double-hinged bottom jaw. It has 5 eyes that can look in every direction. Only 4 of them can, though, and 1 eye that can see in infrared, which is its main eye. 2 eyes come out from on the top. 2 eyes come from the lower jaw. From behind it, anyways. Yeah, the infrared is so that way it can see in the dark. And its weight is actually somewhere around, this is a little scary, 3,500 pounds. So around a ton and 3/4. Pretty freaking heavy. It has different shades of gray, red, black, and dark brown for colors. It has a diet of any radioactive substance, and in this world, some highly magical contaminated places. It's where it thrives. It can range from anything from very little, either radioactive or magical, or very high on both. Metals, electronics, yes, the thing is electronics, and any corrosive materials, both magic acid and pretty much anything else. But it does have a very, very bad immune. It's also immune to pretty much anything radiation-based, unless it's one of its weaknesses: arsenic, lead, or mercury. A dose of 2 grams is enough to kill it. But due to the thing becoming a whole lot bigger, you're going to need up that dosage around, so pretty high. So yeah, so around 10 times. So 20 grams is about enough. But it's best to mix it all together to actually kill the thing to make sure. Its usual powers are super strength, highly corrosive blood, infrared sight, radiation immunity, all seeing, and extreme durability. It's very hard to kill these things. There's multiple of them, whereas there's usually only a handful. But when I say multiple, I mean like a whole bunch, and they're a whole pain in the arses to kill. Well, sorry, that's all for this one. Other than a few other things, it's also the kinks in the armor are some of its weaknesses. And yeah, that's all for it. See, let's get to the next one. Now, this next creature is something not as powerful. It's actually from this world. Somehow, to be honest, this is actually my fault. Due to some of these creatures, and I feel like this is a creature that's very similar in energy layout to a creature I went over a few months ago. The creature is that of the a golem. It is the Dragonoidetal golem elemental. Sorry, Dragonoidetal elemental. Sorry, not a golem. It appears to be, but it ain't. This thing is very strong. It has the ability to use the elements said creature, but it's also very strong, and in fact, it's a lot more draconic. Let's just say its breath weapon is that of fire, but more of a laser. And it's also part of the Blade Tail family, but it's also known with the sub-race of, Buster Blade. The thing is known as the Armored Demonic Buster Blade-tailed Dragon, or Armored Demogorgon Dragon. The reason why I put Demogorgon and Dragon in the same sentence, in the same name anyways, is because of the fact this thing is demonic by nature, yes, but it originally was a demonoid level power-wise creature, but had Dragonoid in it, so some of the names just had to happen, and they were just given. For the record, most people don't really know how to name creatures correctly, so they just name it whatever seems fitting. But let's just say, this thing is a giant pain in the butt to deal with. Also using its element of air, it's able to fly very far and very, very fast. It's mostly purple with a red horn and some golden spikes along its, not golden spikes, a golden section on its tail, which resembles that of a hilt for a blade. But, putting it lightly, this thing is freaking heavy. With a wingspan of around 50 feet, and a body length of around 60 feet. I think it's actually pretty small for a true dragon. But do not let that size underestimate it. It is by far one of the strongest dragons in this world. It is scary how strong this thing is. When I say that, I freaking mean it. It's because of the fact I'm the one who freaking made the original dragon. So I know how freaking terrifying this freaking thing is. Now, power-wise, I don't really know how this happened, to be honest. The best idea I got of how this happened was, after so many generations, for the record, I may or may not have sped the reproduction of the elementals to a pretty high degree, but they've been locked away for around 2 years, so that way they can have at least a few thousand. But since the last time I checked, a few of these dragons started popping up. And I've done some DNA testing. Yes, I still do that to make sure, because sometimes their energy layouts are true, but they have energy layouts usually stay true, so sometimes it helps to do a DNA test of the creatures too. So when I did that, I did both, and it appears the dragon part of the energy layout actually has expanded and grown bigger and has gotten stronger, causing it to shift from an elemental to a dragonoidetal to a dragonoidetal from dragonoidetal to a more of a elemental dragon. It's a very, very weird process, but trust me when I say it's very rare and very possible. Matter of fact, I've seen a few of elemental dragons. They are pretty strong. Now, let's get to the next one. Now, this next one is something from a universe I actually really, really want to go to, but the Overseer is a big pain in the arse to get through. I may or may not have gotten kicked out for stealing the original copy of the energy layout. This guy is from the Tensura AU in this multiverse. Let's just say the few times I have managed to get in there, I have managed to meet a few of the people. And by far, their skills and magic have gotten a whole lot stronger. Like, this one guy named Flarison. He's a Dragonoid Beastman hybrid. He has an ultimate skill known as Firestorm. That guy is strong. But by far one of the strongest people I have looked at and I managed to meet in person is someone named Asher. No, wait, this is the wrong one, I believe. No, wait. Yeah, this is right. Someone named Asher, sorry. He's a Kijin Beastman Lycanthrope hybrid with a unique skill called Elemental Storm. Let's just say, any elemental-based skill, he can copy it. The skills he uses, the elements he uses are earth, water, fire, air, but also light and darkness. So, yeah, he has the very real possibility of creating Demos flames. Matter of fact, the E-World has a very similar part of it called Black Flame. It's a extra skill, if anything. But also can be conjured up using magic. But Demos flames are a whole lot stronger because you can control the power output. Matter of fact, you can freeze someone using it. So, yeah. Believe me, I've done it before. Now, this dragon looks very similar to Asher. Matter of fact, it's literally known as the Asher Elemental Storm Dragon. Well, Elemental Storm Wyvern, sorry. Or Elemental Storm Wyvern for the most common name. Some people call them Ashers, or some people call them their most common name. But by far, this thing kind of belongs, and it's actually found in the Jura Forest, sometimes traveling through other places, and sometimes staying in Japan for a while. Because I've done research, and Kijins are known as an Oni, which are a type of demon in Japanese mythology. Some demons are good, some are bad, and from what I can tell, some Onis are some good, some bad. Can't really figure out the difference. And I mostly get this information from the main universe. Don't even ask about it. I don't know half about it, because I can't really get access to it, because that's where the All-Seer is. And trust me, he scares me, but most people don't know about him. And I really know very little about him. But, anyways. Where was I? Oh, yeah. This creature is approximately, has a lifespan of, well, can't really tell because I don't really have time to, haven't really checked the energy layout. But from what I have seen, it has the energy layout of the, of Asher from the Tensura universe. But the, energy layout is really, really weird. Also, it is said and rumored that the reason why this creature has managed to become into this world is because someone tried copying Asher's powers and tried stealing his being from that world to infuse it with themselves. That is actually possible, but it's a very hard and very, very complicated and tricky process. So, for someone to do that, they've got to have major balls and major amounts of power behind them. I'm almost scared. I can do it, but trust me, I don't want to, because I know it will take a lot out of me. So, just me saying that this thing is powerful, you know it's powerful. Hold up. Yeah, I just got the information from my father. Yeah, it turns out these things can live to be around a quarter of a million years old. So, yeah, really old. Wait, scratch that. Quarter of 3 million years? Yikes, these things get old fast. But they don't really reproduce that often, so they're pretty elusive, and they are stupidly hard to kill. And their wingspan is something like that of around 15... No, not 15. Of around 20 feet, and their body length is around 30. So, let's get to the next one. Okay, this is the last one of the regular dragons, and then I'll get into some hybrids. This one is by far one of the weirdest looking dragons I've ever seen. Reason being, the thing has a blue head, bluish turquoise horns, orange tail, orange wings, black, dark blue, a weird grayish, darkish blue, gray, wing skin, a black neck, just all around weird. It also has a green chest with purple bits on either side of it, and a red stripe with red and blue legs, both front and back. Without further ado, it looks weird, but it's pretty strong. It's known as the random pitch singer dragon, or the pitch singer for short. These dragons come from a person known that is from an entirely different being from a very, very far away universe. No, the person is from Japan, and she is known as Utau Pitchi, and her name is Singer with her quirk being pitch. This is very basic information. That's all I got on her, really. Other than the fact that she's a female, and she is a hero in training, or nearly a pro hero, I believe. It's very vague on that bit. But trust me when I say that it is an utter pain to finally figure out how old she is whatsoever. Anyways, this dragon can actually live to be around 200,000 years. So pretty long by most people's lifespans. Most people's lifespans in this universe, due to magic and all that, they have a lifespan of usually around 5,000 years. But if they have a creature that has a longer lifespan, they get that lifespan of the creature. And then when they die, the creature also dies. That's the only downside of soul bonding. But you have multiple creatures that all have varying lifespans and are all very strong. The lifespans actually add up. So, let's say someone managed to get their hands on 2 Demostic Black Dragons, they all live for 4 million years. So, pretty freaking long life. I have so many dragons, I'm so powerful, I'm practically immortal. It's an utter pain, so I mostly spend my time chronicling dragons and other creatures of this world, but also adventuring and hunting. I've managed to actually kill a few hundred years of just barely hunting. I've been hunting creatures for who knows how long. But anyways, back to this creature. It is very colorful by far, and the wingspan is actually on around 75 feet with a body length of around, if I remember correctly, 100 feet. So an extra 25-foot long body, and most of that goes into the tail. But some of that also goes into the head. The tail is only around 25 feet, not 20 feet, 25, 15, 20 feet. The head being around 5 feet long. Pretty big head, but most of the other body bit it makes up for that. It is a strong creature. It also has the ability, and from what I can find out about Pitchi's quirk, it is very similar. Well, both powers are very pretty much the same. From what I managed to find out, she can copy the pitch of anything, but also the lower it is, it can be used as a concussive blast to knock someone out or cause major earthquakes. That's for this creature. She cannot do that because she doesn't have this even close to as much power as this creature does. And if it's high enough, it can literally cause someone's ears to bleed and their brain to pretty much either melt or fry. Either way, that person will be dead within a few minutes. So, yeah, pretty dangerous creature. That is, if they were actually not that playful. They're quite playful creatures, and they mostly keep their music they're singing to a mediocre level. They are very, very intelligent. They also are very kind, and they can use magic in pretty much any form. But they can mostly copy sounds, too. They're known to copy the sounds of different types of birds and alter their pitch. Their intelligence is that nearly of a human's. So, yeah, that's all for the record. Let's go to get into the hybrids. Okay, sorry. For the first dragon of the hybrids that I have found, well, more or less accidentally created, was something quite interesting. Yeah, see, I found the Demostic Wendigo and the Camemps Dragon at around the same time, but I've got more information on them later. So I decided to combine the two, and it's lucky I keep this thing in a pocket dimension, if anything, but sometimes it's able to get out. And due to that, there's been a few of them sighted around the world. They're quite hard to take down because of their demostic in the part of their nature, but they're not the draconic demostic Camemps Wendigo Dragon or the draconic Camemps Windigos. Basically, like the name suggests, they're part Camemps and part Wendigo Dragon, Drake, whatever. The thing, by for most counts, has the Camemps parts, but it has the body color, mostly the body color of the Windigos, and the feet of them too, like the front claws being huge. And the thing's shell is actually a lot darker than the Camemps, because of the fact that the skin of the Windigo Drake is actually the same color as the shell. So that was just an interesting feature I found. It has blood red wings with a light red actual arm bit, not arm, a wing bone. The horns of it is actually interesting. It actually does have the jagged horns of the Wendigo Drake, but weirdly enough, it is red. And funny enough, these are armored. So, yeah, let that sink in. The thing does have bite spines too, 6 of them. But they only start like halfway down the body, like a third down the body, and then take up the rest of the 2/3. And then 2, what do you call these? The locations where the bone spikes. They have 2 bone spikes on the back, 1 on each leg, literally, and 3 on the tail. Now, the tail is an interesting bit. It can open and close like a lobster tail, but the middle is actually a lot longer because of the 3 prongs due to the Wendigo Drake. So, yeah. And not to mention, their regenerative factor is also stupidly high because of, well, their Wendigo bit. They are stupidly hard to kill because of that, but it is found that their weak points are actually their jaw, just like the Camemps, and also they're down to starving because these things are pretty big and medium, surprisingly enough. They, due to one parent being the Wendigo Drake and one being the Camemps, it is somewhere in between the 2 of them. So it has around a a 75-foot wingspan with a body length of around 90 feet. Yeah. And 15 feet is in the tail, so 75 feet for the rest of the body. Pretty freaking small by True Dragon standards. It is also still quite terrifying, because this thing cannot just fly at very high speed, but also run. due to it being part Drake and part Windigos at that, and being it Demostic, yeah, all three of those aren't a good combination. Originally, the Camemps Dragon can only run a few miles per hour, mostly around 50, but due to that, it's gained a huge boost, running it up to nearly 200 miles an hour. So, yeah, very fast, very big dragon that can weigh up to 1,500 pounds, charging directly at you. Don't worry, it will only harm humans and some mechs. And it's a good thing I've been cooking on mech to hopefully take out a few of these. And for luck, I do have a clone of them, hopefully for a later thing. But let's get to the next one. Now, this next one is still quite horrifying, but quite a bit weirder. The dragons I used to combine were the X-Amosan, which is a one-of-a-kind dragon that is very horrifying to fight, and the dragon that has evolved from a Dragonoidetal creature that I made. It has both have combined energy layouts and somehow created an offspring about as powerful as both of them combined. It's known as the X-Amosan Armored Buster Tail Bladed Dragon, or the X-Amosan Buster Bladed Tail Dragon. They just took out the armored because it's not really that armored at all. On the top bit and bottom bits, it does take on the evolution of its mother, the Buster Tail creature. On the account that it has a buster-tailed blade tail, purple claws, and bits of armor sprouted here and there. But the underbelly of it is that of the X-Amosan. I'm kind of the reason why a thing exists. Hey, I was bored and I was just starting to work with my my overseer powers, and I was curious about what exactly I could do, and let's just say after creating this thing, I immediately threw up lots of blood and passed out for a month. And that month, the thing broke containment. Yeah, I have a facility dedicated to keeping these things so that way they don't really cause much damage, because I want to run a few tests and make sure they're perfectly fine. But due to its power, I underestimated it. It broke containment and by, well, literally, we're shattering the glass in a titanium tungsten alloyed wall with its tail. It comes out that this thing's tail has the ability to heat itself. So that was fun to deal with. And it does actually have the ability to spray water, but it's a very rare ability it uses, because funny enough, it actually harms it somewhat. Because the superheated water, it does have fire immunity, but that doesn't stop from scalding hot water. It's because, especially if you douse it with holy water, whew, that's nasty. You hear sizzling and screeching from a mile away. I found that out after, well, recapturing the thing. It was in a small town nearby wreaking havoc. And this thing I later learned is a conniving little arsehole. It loves terrifying people. And also, it feeds off their fear, which I later found out is due to the Wyvgon. The Wyvgon? No, not the Wyvgon, The X-Amosan, sorry. Both have an X in their, both have an A in their name and some very similar. So I get some of them confused sometimes. But trust me when I say, still a ginormous pain in the arse. Now, sorry about that. It's just, I'm right now having to deal with a creature trying to break containment, and I'm just trying to keep it under control for a bit. But let's just say, pipe down. let's just say that this creature is not going to be as interesting. It's going to be quite interesting compared to the others. But anyways, back to this one. This one is still, from the test I've ran, it has a lifespan of around 1,000,000 years. But could live longer due to the X-Amosan part of it. The X-Amosan part of it. But that is going to have to make it a lot of fear and have to eat a lot of people. And it turns out the X-Amosan was brought here by a bunch of stupid cultists. They were trying to bring a demon here to hopefully wreak havoc and help them take over the world. But they made the bad idea of, well, summoning it. Yeah. Summoning a creature from another dimension into a dimension where it does not exist kind of weakens it, but also changes its biology and energy layout. So, yeah. It was quite nasty, and I've seen the aftermath. That guy those people were good. And a few of them were bitten in half and eaten. From what I could tell, alive. So, yeah, let's get to something that's a little bit friendlier. Okay, now, the next one, I said pipe down, is the creature that I'm going to be talking about. That's quite interesting. And I have in my custody right now. But before we do, we have to talk about this last one. This last one is the dragon known as the Random Elemental Storm Singer Wyvern, or the Elemental Storm Singer Wyvgon, sorry. It is called that due to the fact that it is a combination of the Asher Elemental Storm Wyvern and the Pitch Singer Dragon. And, well, let's just say both of them are pretty powerful. The Asher one being stronger, but due to the fact of a few things, it has came out to be a Wyvgon, and I can see why. And that is due to it being one parent being a Wyvern and the other one being a True Dragon. These are how actual dragons like this are created in this world. They have to be, from this world first. But they can be a huge pain in the arse to deal with later. But this one's actually quite friendly, due to it being of the family of both of these dragons, which are quite harmless to people, but still can pose a major threat when pissed off. They are still huge pains in the arse to deal with, because they can cause, well, elemental storms. Elemental storms are a nasty storm, like which the name implies, can bring bunches of different elements, some ice, sometimes water. Those are pretty common, but those can also sometimes cause firestorms. Yeah, you sometimes look at the core of these things, and, well, you find these dragons. These firestorms don't really harm the surroundings as much as regular firestorms do. They usually target individuals that have committed some pretty heinous acts, like rape. But I usually find those people, and they're usually dead before I can find them. Quite literally burn alive. But then there's ones like the geostorms, which, trust me, some rocks just bounce right off people, while others go flying right through them and make them Swiss cheese. So, yeah. Weirdly enough, both of these dragons, that comes from the fact of the Pitch Singer. The Pitch Singer is also able to pick up on who's been naughty and nice. No, literally, they can. They're pretty much the Santa Claus of dragons, minus a toy making bit. They're still incredibly powerful. Do not underestimate them in any circumstances. They can really mess up with your mind. And, well, overall for this creature, the front legs and back legs, the bomb bits, are that of the upper legs of the pitch sinker. And the upper legs of the front and back are that of the Elemental Storm Wyvern. Their claws are that of kind of both. The creatures can usually be found in Rocky Mountains areas. Still do not tick them off, because they're known to sometimes let off little bursts of energy, which are black lightning energy, that can quite literally fry you to a crisp. But they're also known to, well, how do you say this? Let off huge gusts of wind, which is what they primarily use when creating either any storm. There's also light and darkness storms. These storms are created by, well, them drain light and darkness. But their lifespan is actually only that of 1,000,000 years. Yeah, these creatures are hybrids, so they're going to be stupidly powerful and have stupidly long lifespans. They're actually pretty small. They're about the size of 75 feet, with that being the wingspan, and 80 feet being the 85 feet being the full body length. Around 8 feet going to the tail. So, yeah, pretty big for this creature, but pretty small by other dragon standards. Now let's get to the one I've been dreading. I said pipe down! And, well, I'm going to tell you about them now. See you in the next one. Now, the creatures I'm talking about and having to deal with right now is a creature I've created for, well, to be a trump card. Because I've looked and all these dragons are powerful in their own rights. This creature is something that evolution didn't do justice, and by evolution I mean me. This is a pretty long name, but the creature name I've dubbed it is Demostic X-Amosan Blade-Tailed Elemental Singer Dragon, or Demostic X-Amosan Storm Singer Dragon. Now, like this name suggests, it does have a buster tail, but it has 3 mores, another blade, and, well, a spike where acidic blood can leak out from. Yeah, I kept that fact in. Not just that, the top blade is also able to produce the element, but also is actually able to breathe said elements. And just like the Dracoustic Camemps Wendigo and the Camemps Dragon, both have double-hinged jaws. This one also has a double-hinged jaw at the bottom. Trust me when I say this one is a major pain in the arse. Name it for the fact that I had to combine the 6 energy layouts of the originals plus the 3 energy layouts of the others, so that way they will be balanced and not cause a lot of destruction and or definitely mayhem. Because I've accidentally didn't balance one creature's energy layout, and that one creature nearly destroyed a good chunk of the island I was on while experimenting with it. And let's just that open a portal to, well, the next time. But let's just say that next time I'm gonna finally be telling you all the story of the Xmas battle. And plus, there's a few things I'm remembering that have happened, and trust me when I say it was a pretty cool fight. Now, this dragon does It's actually quite big, having a 100 foot, half a foot, 150 feet wingspan with a 200 body length. So, yeah, huge. No, about double the size of regular dragons. But being able to produce wind magic and wind elements, it's also able to use that to fly, which helps because the thing weighs around about 5 tons. So, 10,000 pounds. One step is enough to crush a human. And it does eat other dragons. Not, and I'd say when I say dragons, I mean mostly targets very big true dragons. Sometimes it goes after Demostic black dragons. But let's just say that is not a good idea, because that thing is literally utterly gutted whenever it tries to kill one, because of the fact the Demostic black dragons are actually the strongest dragon in the world. And trust me when I say I've tried making something as strong as it. Never worked, because due to its energy layout, I've looked into it and it has a interesting core. It's an adaptation core. It's very hard to deal with. It has the ability to adapt to any situation and gain a temporary ability or permanent ability depending on if there's more creatures of the world just like it or what. But it's also able to increase its own strength due to it. But the one I really have to deal with is my uncle's. My uncle is Vycos 1000, the Demostic King. Stupidly stronger than me, and just stronger than the Overseer. So I have to deal with him. And funny enough, he actually helped with the Xmas battle. But the guy's actually really nice. And he's here. Okay, what do you need? I need some help with this dragon. Ugh. Yeah. Oh, and he just subdued it. Okay. 5 minutes later. Okay, finally. And I'm back, sorry. And this creature, well, let's just say it shapeshifts into a human. Okay, and it just, like I just stated, just shapeshifts into a human. And this is a female, and this is not going to be fun to deal with. Talk to y'all later. See you next time. Peace out. Well, further, that's all the time I got for this video, and don't forget to come back next week for the Xmas battle. Until then, subscribe today to join the Spikers Army or Demostic Alliance. Goodbye, and peace out, everyone.